Hello. Hi guys, I am back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm just gonna quickly check and make sure that my stream is all fine in all the different places that it's on. And once that's done, we can start with the writing prompts. I'm just gonna check Reddit really quick because Reddit often causes issues when streaming. And Reddit says connection issues. Hello Reddit. Through to Reddit, are you alive? Will you be able to... Excuse me Reddit, excuse me. I need you to work right now. Okay, I'm just gonna reload Reddit. This is getting up. Okay, it should be good to go. Hello Reddit. Hello everyone else. Welcome to Brew Rights. And we are back with more stories. I had to miss this week's last episode because of a friend who came back from overseas, and I had to meet him, so I couldn't do it on Tuesday. But I am back. I have a lot of fun stories for you today, and I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to try adding music to the stories. So when I read out the stories, I'm going to be adding music to it. So just a quick little introduction for those who are new. This is Brew Rights, where I write stories based on writing prompts, mainly from Reddit, and I narrate the stories out live. And you guys can tell me what you think, or you guys can tell me if it's good or bad, and I will listen and try to become a better writer. I'm mainly doing this to write, to do something in life that is not playing games all the time. So thank you for joining if you're here. And this is the first time I'm going to be using music, so I might mess it up in quite a few places. So I would ask that you be a little patient with me today, because this is literally the first time I'm trying something like this. So we can get started with the first story, which is the world as you know it has ended. There's a massive war that wiped out most of the world's population. You took refuge in an abandoned house deep in the woods, living off the surrounding land. One night, after not seeing a soul for a year, you hear a knock on the door. Let me try this music thing now. Wait, it's already been playing? No, it's not. Okay. Now it's playing. Now it's definitely playing. Oh, it's playing the whole time. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. This is the music. I'm going to try to work with it. Sorry, as I said, I'm doing it for the first time, so a couple of glitches here and there. The world as you know it has ended. There is nothing now. I must correct myself. There are no humans now. I might very well be the last one left. Nature has recovered from the effects of the terrible war and has laid claim to all it could see. The old buildings and skyscrapers seem to be thin mountains now, covered by lush green plants. There seems to be no sign of human life remaining on Earth. Buildings, roads, even monuments, all gone. On the plus side, there is no more climate change, or at least, I think so. I can't be sure. The cold doesn't seem as cold and the heat doesn't seem as hot. The birds chirp and fly freely every day while the animals on land fight and hunt for survival. I am neither fully human nor fully animal, so I do the only thing I can. I kept a few places safe from the claim of nature. The local grocery store was saved by me, but the vegetables and fruits are long gone. I have planted as much as I can to continue eating them, but I am no farmer. The real reason I saved the grocery store is for the artificial goods created by humans. The instant noodles are a godsend. There are days where I waste away on bed with not the strength to do anything at all. When hunger reaches a certain level that isn't bearable, these noodles save me. They might be long expired, but my body has adapted to consume anything to survive. There are canned beans, breads, flours, and more which have made it through the long years. At one point, I used to love cooking. Now, I can barely manage to start it. The flavors that I used to love and enjoy with people are now just distant memories of a time that will never come back. Not that I can't make them, I just feel no urge to. I live on, not even sure why I do. Death would be a welcome sight, but for some reason my body's instincts are sharp. It refuses to die easily, forces me to move and survive. I dream of the times I used to be energetic and free, when I thought the world was mine for the taking. Call it age or call it growing up. I realize that I am but an ant in the flow of the universe. I'm a tiny dot in the line of existence. I thought I was a bright star that would be seen as a light in history, but I now know that I am nothing but a death star swallowing up everything around me. I've contributed nothing of matter to this universe and will be taken back into nothingness. Nothingness. That's a great way to explain my life. I don't even know why I'm writing this. I don't think it'll ever be read. If you can read this, consider this my final note to everyone. I'm done. Knock, knock, knock. What? Was it a human who finally found this humble house of mine? Maybe we can revive the human race. Maybe we can rule the new world together. If there was someone else, there's always hope. I open the door and see a surprised deer that is scratching its antlers on the wooden door. Never mind. I'm done. So not really sure how that went with the music. I would love some feedback if you guys could tell me about it. This is the first time I'm trying it again and just saying that. So this story, I'm just going to explain a little bit of it. Firstly, writing prompts are not meant to be like, you can follow them to the letter if you want, but you can always change things a little bit. So instead of being deep in the woods, I made it seem like this person was sitting in a city of sorts, and they say the local grocery store. And I was just thinking of things that I would do if the world ended right now. Okay, if the world ended right now, like there's a war and I'm the only human left. The first thing I do is make sure I had a lot of instant noodles. Okay, I put a lot of my personality into the story, and so for example, I'm not a farmer. I think that should be obvious, but I do love to cook. I love to cook. At least I used to, and then over the years, I've just gotten more and more lazy. It's basically depression. I have clinical depression, which causes me to lose interest in everything that I do. So I end up not doing anything, and I eat instant noodles all the time, which is a very bad habit. But if everyone else is dead, nobody's there to lecture me about whether it's a bad habit. So that's a plus in my side. But yeah, anyway. So basically, it's just surviving. As much as somebody might be ready to die, your body has inbuilt survival mechanisms. So when you get too hungry, you're just forced to eat because you can't stand the pain, and you can't just like, you probably could throw yourself off a cliff. That would require a lot of courage as well. It's not something easy to do. And I just thought of how much it would suck to be in a world where you don't have the internet to talk to people, you don't have people, so you're all alone, and you cannot contribute anything to the universe. Just makes you feel smaller than you already are. It makes you feel worse than you already are. And for someone like me, I think I would just crumple and lose myself if I was forced to look at life and be like, I have no meaningful contributions done at all to this world. So that was a thought process going on in my brain. I just wanted to, like, when I was younger, I really thought the world was mine. Like, I would be this, or I would be a CEO of a company. I would be the creative director of an ad agency. I would have power and money and fame and all that shit. And now I'm not old, but I feel like I'm 70 in my brain. So I just feel like a failure. Like, there are a lot of things that I could have done, but I haven't done. So I just injected a lot of that into the story. And I felt like this is something that I would feel like if I was stuck in the middle of nowhere with nobody else in the world, just waiting for a death that will eventually come one day. And this the whole knock knock knock, because it's part of the writing prompt, I added it in. If there is always somebody else, you do have that. If there's someone with you, you have that feeling of, yes, I can do it. Okay, somebody's there with me, somebody's right by my side. I have the power to do it. But then when you're alone, it's much harder to bring yourself to do something. And I really wanted to put that out there because I feel the same way. Like, if there's somebody working with me, I feel so much like I feel like I'm alive. I can actually do something. I can do a lot of work. But then if I'm supposed to do it on my own, I'm like, I can't. I'm done already. I don't even want to try. I'm freaking done with this shit. So just wanted to add all that into this, and ended up being a very sad story. And hopefully the sadness went out to you and reached you. Otherwise, I failed in writing the story. So please let me know what you think of the story. I will quickly change the music because I I should go on to the next one. And I forgot what I called it. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Stop playing. Stop playing. Don't let the music play. Okay. I figured out how to change the music, guys. Don't worry. I have this under control. I think. Okay. It's under control. We can move on to the next story. I will just quickly check if anyone has any comments. And if you guys do, I'll just read them out. Otherwise, we can move on. Oh, disassociative. Oh my God. Sorry. Disassociative Nugget says the despair is tangible in your prose. I'm curious how the story would progress, so it's a great hook to draw readers, in my opinion. Yeah. So the thing is, right now I'm only doing writing prompts, so trying to keep it as short as possible. But I am I'm just trying to fit in as much feelings as possible into. I mean, I'm a writer. I'm supposed to be able to express myself better, but you please forgive me for my lack of vocabulary while talking here. But I mean, it's just that I just want to fit in as much emotions as possible into the story, into the short story that I can write. It can't be too long as well, because I don't want people to get bored while reading it on social media. So I wanted to write a short story, but something that would actually stick with the person. So that is my main aim through these stories, and I'm glad you liked it. So thank you for commenting. Thank you for joining in, Disassociated Nugget. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble pronouncing your name, but yeah, it's a very interesting name, by the way. Now that I think about it, very, very interesting name. Yeah, we can move on to the next story. The daughter of the Dark Lord has joined the heroes. Many would assume he is angry, but the Dark Lord is actually quite proud of his daughter. She doesn't stay in his shadow, explores the world, makes friends, and makes her own choices. Okay. Starting the music. Let's hope this goes well. The Dark Lord of the world of Asterori is a man of conviction. He rose from the rank of a lowly soldier, then being promoted to the leader of a group of 10, then 100, then 1,000, and finally got his own army. The Dark Lord had an immense aptitude for magic, and nothing was a match for him as he quickly learned his way around the dark arts and the secrets of war. His only concern was that his life was restricted in ways he never wanted. His original plan was to fight for the army for a few years and then go on an adventure all around the world, seeking mysteries and treasures that one could only dream of. Unfortunately for him, he was forced to continue in the army due to his power and potential. He was given promotion after promotion. He was forced to take on more and more work. Yeah, he was borderline unbeatable, but damn it, paperwork was his weakness. And he had to process all the dead soldiers and talk to their families and stand in parades where dark smoke would fly out of cannons to signal his spirits going away, as evil as ever. What a drag. The Dark Lord wanted a life of freedom and was handed a life of servitude to the army. That's why when he got command over the entire army and was able to join as one of the high-ranking ministers in the royal court, he took his chance and cut down the previous Dark Lord. Easy peasy. Now he could live his life the way he wanted, right? Wrong! So annoying. So many new responsibilities. Now he had to make sure he raised a family, and he had to take care of citizen grievances. He had to be the acting judge in court. He had to make laws, discuss finances, infrastructure, and war. Don't forget the everlasting war and all its war implications. For dark God's sake, he still had to wait in parades and talk to families. He eventually gave in to fate and let it take him. He would do what the hells wanted him to do. He couldn't fight it. Until his little daughter held his finger with her whole tiny hand. The fire of adventure raged in his heart again, and he swore upon his darkness that he'd let his child live a life free of restrictions and devoid of death parades. He raised her to be curious and adventurous. He made sure she wasn't forced into the stupid customs and traditions that were followed regularly. She would only participate if she wanted to. No warmongering for her either. She was given the choice of choosing a path of war as a soldier or a strategist, and she chose to jump into the dark swamp and find the treasure of the yin souls instead. So, when the Dark Lord looked into his daughter's location to make sure she was okay, he was not surprised to see that she had joined a group of adventurers who were coming to defeat the Dark Lord and free the country. If only these idiots knew that war would always go on. The Dark Lord was happy though. His daughter was free, and she was bringing adventure to his doorstep. Okay, I don't know when the music ended, but it says that it's ended over here. So that's the second story. I'll just go through it a little bit. Disassociative Nugget says, to write with the fewest words, concise descriptions are hard. I used to love writing. Yeah, so I also worked in an ad before this, which is the major cause of my depression. But like less is more. The lesser you write, the better it is always. And except some people kept thinking that the customers were stupid and they had to write very short stuff, but also very dumb stuff so that people would understand it. And I really didn't like that. But you say, I used to love writing. Do you not write anymore? What changed? Why do you not love writing anymore? If you could let me know, I would be glad to have a conversation about it. Only if you want to. Of course, no, I'm not pressurizing you into telling me anything. But tell you, reply. A few points over here, which is well, it's again, this is also a few things from my life, but also a lot of things that I just thought, a lot of things that I just thought of in life in general, from people I've seen, my own parents, and so on. So when you have when you have freedom, do you really have freedom? So some people might consider their family to be a great source of joy. Some people might consider a family to be something that binds them to a place where they necessarily don't want to be. And that's not to say that they resent their wife or husband or children, but it's just that there's always a question of what if they weren't there, what if I could go and do my own thing. But a lot of people suck it up, and it's considered a part of being an adult that you do all these things, that you have children, that you start a family, that you make your bloodline go on, and blah blah blah. And there are a few people who just don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to have children ever. I just want to go off on my own adventure. I want to visit different countries. I want to enjoy myself. I want to dance and okay, I don't dance. I suck at dancing. You should know that just by looking at me. But I want to go eat all kinds of food, drink all kinds of things, and try everything in the world. So I feel like I'm not going to be a good father. Maybe I would have a lot of good advice, but being a failure in life as it is, I don't want a child to be raised to be a failure anyway. That's a joke anyway. So basically, this Dark Lord is someone who wanted to go on adventures all the time, but was forced into the army. Forced in the sense that he had really good aptitude for it. He was really good at what he did, and such was his life that his path was decided for him just because of his aptitude. And because he was so good at it, he just kept going with it. Like, sure, I'm great at fighting people, so I'm just going to keep fighting people. And he just wanted freedom all along. So even though he went up in rank, even though he became the Dark Lord himself, he still had more responsibilities. He still had to talk to everybody. He still had to do a lot of politics. He still had to do a ton of stuff. So he wanted to make sure that his child could be raised without any of these annoying customs. And I specifically mention customs and traditions because I come from India, where traditions and customs are very, very much a part of our everyday life, and I absolutely detest them. I cannot stand the sitting in one place for a long time. Indians, we have fires which we have to put stuff into and chant different things. It's just very, very frustrating for me. And my dad made sure that I always had a choice, that I could not sit for it if I didn't see the sense in it. And I never saw the sense in it, so I never sat for it. And I think that's one of the things I really respect about my dad, which is he gave me the choice to make my own decisions. And I really thought that if someone like a Dark Lord wanted to be an adventurer, he would definitely make sure that his offspring had that option available to them in some way. So she decided to not go down the path of war and decided to go adventuring instead. And she joins a group which wants to take down the Dark Lord. And I mean, again, this could lead to anything. Like, this could actually be her being in, like, maybe a teenage rebel phase where she's like, yeah, dad, I'm going to take you down with all these other heroes. Or she could just be playing around with these heroes. And then in the end, she's like, yeah, the Dark Lord's my dad. Just don't kill him. Or anything. It could be anything at all. So I just thought of how happy that the Dark Lord would be knowing that his daughter could go on the adventures that he never could go on. And also, because she joined the adventurers and brought them right to his doorstep, he would have an adventure there anyway. It's not like he would never be able to adventure because, well, the group of heroes coming to fight him, that's always fun for a Dark Lord. But yeah, that's it for this story. We shall move on to the next one in just a minute as I try to figure out which song, which music file I wanted to put in for this. I have a lot of files that I kept. Okay, I think this one. No, this one's not it. Is it? Is this it? Is it? Is it? Is this it? No, no, no. Okay, I think this one is it. Cool. I will quickly change the music and we can go on to the next story. Again, just reminding you guys that I am trying the music for the first time. So if you think it doesn't go with it, please let me know. I will try to do a better job next time. I just took like an hour or so to look up the music and think of different tracks for all these different stories. So maybe not. I should have spent more time on it, maybe, but you guys can let me know if you like it. I think maybe I've done a decent job, but if you don't like it, please do let me know. I will work harder on the next stream to make things a little better. But yeah. So the writing prompt is: as your followers stopped believing, you were fading, like all the other gods before you, until you started believing in yourself. Sick. It stopped being a god, let me tell you. The big ones are all fine and great. Everyone remembers their name no matter how many centuries or millennia pass. Poseidon, Zeus, Hades, Odin, Horus, Io, Thor, Osiris, Anubis. What about the smaller gods? Ever think of us? I am named Rancid, and I am soon to be a forgotten god. I've seen this effect when when humans stop believing in us. Even the topmost gods suffer from this. Their power weakens every day, and they can just sit and wait for death. They call it different things: Armageddon, Ragnarok. It's all the same. One day they will be forgotten and they will cease to exist. It's the same for me, but at a much faster rate. I wanted to live as a god that would be kind and help humans. I never got any appreciation for my good deeds. Instead, all thanks were given to the bigger, older gods who didn't even care. What a farce. I hope they die. That means I die too. But, well enough, I will die happy that they will soon fade away from everyone's minds. It makes no sense though. The gods created humans. Why does our existence depend on our own creation? We, the gods, should be the ones who stay eternal, while the humans should fade if they stop believing in us. The curious thing seems to be that the humans who stopped believing in us gods were stronger and more morally strong than the ones who followed our teachings. It's almost like they believed in something else. It was themselves. They made their own moral code and believed in their own abilities to love, work, and live. They weren't just human anymore. They were above human. That reminds me of a human with a big mustache who claimed that we were all dead and that humans had killed us. Didn't he say something like that? Anyway, I need to do that too. Believe in myself. I need to exert my strength and make sure I don't fade away. I am a god. I cannot simply just disappear. I will will myself into a continued existence. No one can mess with me. I gather my powers and meditate for a while, keeping my form in my mind's eye. I solidified my form and focused on absorbing energy from the heavens and pouring it into myself. I successfully managed to keep my existence from draining away. I know I exist. Didn't another human say something related? I think, therefore I am? Nothing could take me away. I wouldn't forget my goals though. I will set out to do what I do. I will do what I set out to do. I need purpose in life. I will help those humans who need help, and I will make sure they know who helped them. Doing this will enable them to believe in me, making me stronger and stronger, while all the other gods become weaker and weaker. Haven't you heard the saying? God helps those who help themselves. Music. Okay, so that's the third story. There are two more, if anyone is wondering. I'm just going to quickly check. Check. Yeah, okay, anyway. So, yeah. Gods. There's a lot of material out there which talks about how the gods are reliant on humans, and it usually goes on to human offerings like sacrifices or offerings of food. It is said that the Greek gods would be able to smell the food that was offered to them as by burning, and then they would be able to live off that. And there's a lot of stuff about how humans can help the gods, and everyone believes that when humans stop believing in gods, the gods stop to exist. In fact, there's a manga called Noragami. It's called Stray God, and it's about a god who it's basically about how multiple gods can literally just fade away permanently because humans forget they exist. They don't pray to them anymore. They don't care about them, which causes the gods to really care about their followers, so to speak. But so the idea of a lower god came from that story, which is in that case the god there is supposed to be a low class god and not as popular as the other one, so he has like very few followers and he might die anytime because they might forget him. So I was just thinking about that, and I'm also big into philosophy, and I say that with a slight warning. I'm not a philosopher by any means. I'm not even someone well versed in philosophy. I'm just someone who has dabbled in it, so I understand a few things, and a few things just go into my head, mess my brain up, and go out the other way. But I do like Nietzsche and his answer to nihilism a lot, and I'm also a big fan of Buddhism because I believe it teaches a lot of cool things. So I was just wanted to add a bit of that into this. So that's why I start with the God questions it, like God's created humans, so why does the existence of God create on the depend on the creation? And it's the human with a huge mustache who claimed that we were all dead. So if you guys don't know, Nietzsche was is famous for having said God is dead and we have killed him, by which he meant that the Christian morals that upheld society for a long, long time were starting to break down, and humanity was the reason that God was dead, because we stopped believing in God as a society. The belief went down a lot in his time. So he said that those who believed in themselves, those who made a moral code for themselves that was not reliant on somebody else's moral code, those who would be able to live and through passion, through art, through uh, food, through music, through everything. So he believed that people who could do that were above human, Ubermensch, and or superhuman, whatever, whichever translation you prefer. And it was his answer to why we didn't need a god figure as humanity, because the people who could believe in themselves and create their own moral code would not need somebody who is higher than them to lead them anywhere. And Nietzsche considered Buddha from Buddhism. He considered him to be one of the first Ubermensches in the world, because he was the one who created a whole code that other people started following because it made sense. So I wanted to reference Nietzsche over here, which is what I did with this whole paragraph. It was themselves and the man. And also, the everyone knows Rene Descartes. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he said, I think, therefore I am. And for a God, if a God thinks, therefore the God is, then the God should exist. There should be no reason for the God to stop existing. And after I wrote a really sad, powered by my depression first story, I wanted to write a story which had a little bit of hope in it. As sad as I am in life, I do have hope. I have hope in humanity. I have hope that the world will be a better place because we humans will come together to make it a better place. Whether that's through people who are doing constant activism, or whether that's people who are contributing to society through something like technology, or whether it's people like us, like you and me, who are writing stories, who are making videos, who are creating music, or making art, stuff like that. Everybody is going to contribute to society in some way. Their mark will be left somewhere, and I wanted to leave that hope. I wanted to put that hope out through you guys as well, where you can always believe in yourself and you can always try your best to do something. And well, even if you don't succeed completely, you will have done something, and that's better than nothing. And that's what I tell myself, but maybe it'll help you too. And the last line, God helps those who help themselves, that's like everybody's heard that at least once, right? Especially in a religious country like mine. That's I've heard that all the time. Like, one of the first questions I ever asked my mom about religion, when she was a religious person, was, God's so great. Why can't he help me pass my exam? Gotcha there, didn't I? Loophole. If God's so great, why do I need to study? And she'd always say, God helps those who help themselves. So if you don't help yourself, God will not help you. And I was like, God damn, God has some conditions. Like, damn it, just let me pass my exam. God, it's not that hard. And so it's just something I wanted to add in over there to add a little bit of fun. Anyway, we can move on to the next story, and I will just quickly figure out the song for this one. Da-da-da. Choose file. This is I got it quick this time, guys. Don't you worry. I'm becoming faster and faster. It also doesn't help that I didn't name them properly, so all of them are just like sad music, happy music, sci-fi music, orchestra music, and I don't know which one is supposed to correspond to which story, because I named them when I was writing the story, and now I have forgotten all about it. But I hope this will work. So, the fourth writing prompt is: years ago, you rescued a homeless guy during a blizzard. You got him a job and you've been best roommates ever since. Tonight, you discover him talking to someone in the mirror. It's my sister, he explains. My father has died and I can come home. Come with me. And Music. There is no need to repay my kindness, my dear friend. If you have found your home, you must go. Your family must be waiting for you, I said. You have to come and visit at least once. You cannot refuse. I have imposed on you for so long, so it is only fair that you allow me to give you a tour of my house. Hassan yelled and grabbed my hand. Okay, but I don't want to get caught in any magic nonsense. Okay, I'm just a normal human, I started saying, but I stopped as I saw a tear underneath us opening up. It looked like the ground had been torn asunder and the vastness of the sky itself was underneath. You're not going to be a normal human there, Hassan said, grinning. He fell, and he dragged me with him. After falling into the space hole, I felt like I was being tossed and turned continuously. It was nauseating, and it felt like the inside of a washing machine. I felt ground under me, but I immediately crumpled. My body was too weak after that tumble through space itself. I looked around and couldn't believe my eyes. I was on another planet, and I could see Earth far, far in the distance. We were still in the solar system, but I had no idea how I was here. I've been into astronomy for a long time and like to look at stars and planets that are far away and follow all news related to space. I was so interested in the live videos that Nanba Muta, the Japanese astronaut, broadcasted of him building the Sharon Lunar Observatory. Hassan lifted me up and helped me up. He looked serious. A group of people approached and they looked sad. The oldest woman stepped up. The great ruler has passed away, and according to his wishes, your exile is over. You can now claim the throne, enriched by your experiences with the humans. I hope you had a satisfactory experience learning about the subjects you will rule soon. I also see that you brought your slave of choice from the desolate planet, she said. Before Hassan could say anything, I jumped out of his hands and fell promptly. Gravity is an extra big bitch over here. What do you mean slave? I helped you and treated you to a home and hot meals for years, only for you to turn around and make me serve you against my will, I started. Hassan easily picked me up again. Don't worry, brother. I brought you here as the most esteemed guest and not as a slave. Mother, this is my best friend. I would have died a lonely, cold death if not for him. He used to get free access to our world and have a status that isn't anywhere as low as a human. He is one of us, Hassan declared. I felt like trouble was brewing. Instead, all of Hassan's family bowed down before me and thanked me for saving his life. I wanted out. This was too much for me. I know what you're thinking, but I brought you here for a reason. This is an undiscovered planet in your solar system. Humans have no idea it exists, and you've always wanted to get involved with astronomy as a career. Here's my offer. You come here to visit often, and for each visit, you get precious rocks and minerals that from other planets that we mine for our own uses here. Hassan quickly bribed me. Well, I started. This was much better than what I was expecting. I wanted to avoid magic problems, but I could be an esteemed guest and impress everyone on Earth with heaven-defying access to materials from around the galaxy. I accept, I finished. Time to make $1 million with space rocks. And we stop the music. Okay. So, fair warning, if any of you felt like the astronomy stuff was a whole lot of bullshit, that's because it was. I do not know anything about the sky. I do not know anything about the universe. All I know is we are on one planet out of 9. Pluto is a planet. Fight me. Okay? Don't fight me in the comments now. Message me later if you want to fight me. But Pluto is a planet. Okay? I'm on Team Pluto. So, I was just thinking. Let's say, okay, so talking to someone in the mirror, I was like, most people are going to be thinking of an alternate universe, an alternate reality, or a fantasy world that they could go in. And I was like, hey, what if you could go to another planet instead? That would be cool. So this guy saves this homeless guy. He gives him a job and manages to be roommates with him for a long, long time. They're good friends. And this guy takes him back. Okay, so he's like, hey, just come and visit my house. I've been in your house for so long. You need to see mine. And how do you actually go? Okay, maybe he's using the mirror. It was implied that the mirror is the way you get to the other world. But I was like, maybe the mirror is just for communication. So what he does is he opens a tear in space. And this is inspired by this Chinese comic I'm reading. It's called Martial Peak. And what the guy does in Martial Peak is he basically is experienced in the Tao of space. So he manages to rip open void cracks that he can jump into to escape from danger or travel short distances. So I was thinking of that in that aspect. So it basically tears open a crack, a portal to the other planet itself, and he goes there. And this guy can see Earth far away, and he's like, whoa, what's going on? How am I on another planet? And this particular line, I was so interested in the live videos Nanba Muta's Japanese astronaut broadcasted of him building the Sharon Lunar Observatory, is a direct reference to Space Brothers. I don't know if you guys are, who is watching, I don't know if you guys are manga fans, but Space Brothers is undoubtedly one of the best manga you could read simply because of the beautiful. It's a bit of fiction and reality mixed in. It's based on people who want to go to space. These two brothers who are desperate to go to space from a very young age. They dreamed of being astronauts. And Nanba Muta, the one who goes to the moon, is actually a guy who headbutts his employer because he badmouths astronauts or something, and he headbutts him and he gets fired because of that. And nobody wants to hire him because in Japan, if you do something like that and you get fired, so nobody is ever going to touch you again. But he wants to go to the moon, and there's a person called Sharon who helps these brothers learn more about space and encourages their curiosity. And she wants to build a lunar observatory on the dark side of the moon so that humanity can observe what lies on that side of the universe. So I understand there's a lot of like context I'm giving here, but I just really wanted to put in a reference to Space Brothers. It's a really good read. If you guys wanted to check it out, you should. I guarantee it, you'll have fun. So that line there. And so as a person who is who's interested in astronomy and you end up in another planet, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to be looking at all the rocks. You're going to be looking at what kind of terrain is over there, whether it supports water, whether it supports life of different kinds. So here clearly life is supported, but he gets all kinds of access to rocks that he wants, and he's literally promised that each time he visits there'll be more and more minerals and rocks given to him. And if a human being suddenly appeared and went up to NASA and he's like, here is a rock from Pluto, I'm pretty sure NASA would be like, okay, this guy's bullshit. But they check it out and then be like, okay, that's actually a rock from Pluto. Let's call this guy over. He might have something. So it's just an open-ended story. It could go anywhere. Maybe he gets kicked out of NASA for being a fraud, or maybe he gets accepted into NASA and everyone is like, okay, listen, that guy, nobody knows how he does it, but he gets us a lot of cool stuff that helps us learn more about the universe. Okay, so shh, just let him be. But yeah, that's it for this story, and we can move on to the last story and music. Just 1 second. Yes. I don't know. You're going to find out. It's going to be fun if it's not this, but again, that's what you guys are there for. My guinea pigs for my music experiments. Let me know if it's good. If it's not good, please let me know. I know I'm probably making a fool of myself if I put some wrong music over here, but that's fine because this story starts off with something related to me. How was magic discovered? Well, it all started with two idiots. And here is one idiot here to tell you that story. Let me start the music. Idiots rule the world, and this would be true from now till ever. There is no end to idiots, and there is no end to people who follow idiots. Some idiots can be very useful though. I'm talking about puppet kings or public figures who think they are the reason the world is improving, while competent people take care of things in the shadows. These two idiots were different. They weren't industry leaders or rulers or even religious figures. In fact, they were not in the public's eye at all. Only in their parents' eyes. They were young, just 12 years old. They used to play with each other regularly and had toys made by one parent who was a carpenter and a few brought from Vapol Industries. They were neighbors and they lived humble lives. They held humble jobs and ate humble food. They didn't have dreams of being famous or rich. They were content with life as it was. Their families were healthy and happy, and that's all they cared about. It is usually people like this that fortune, or misfortune, finds its way into. The two kids were simply playing one day, and as kids do, they pretended to have the power of the gods themselves. Lightning, earth, rain, fire, and wind. They pretended to be able to set things alight, move things and change the landscape as they waved their arms around and danced alongside each other. They were friends and they were changing the world together. As kids do, they played every day, and as kids do, one day there was an accident. While waving his arms around and pushing a blast of earth towards the other, it actually happened and sprayed one of the kids with stones. Instead of crying about it, they both became more excited and tried recreating what just happened. As kids do, they were curious and experimented. They learned slowly but surely how to move the earth itself, how to heat things or create fire, or how to obstruct or guide the flow of air and water, making them the first true masters of magic in this world. They were still idiots, and they worked together to create a house for them on the earth, on top of a tree and in the forest. Then they burrowed underground and explored the secrets kept in the earth. They realized that certain stones would help them perform this imaginary magic much better, and they'd hold on to it. As they grew, they practiced magic and would often be seen gracefully dancing around each other, almost like putting on a performance as they changed their surroundings. Their parents were humble and asked to keep this to themselves. They didn't want the attention and ensure that word of this wouldn't spread to forces who would try to steal it for themselves. So far, they seemed like geniuses. So why were they idiots? Well, they were 18 now. As friends do, they got into a fight once. This is normal, but not normal at the same time. So far, they always worked together to work their magic. This time, they changed their rage against each other and their magic as well. Ignorant of the damage they were doing, they changed the entire landscape of the place they fought in. New maps had to be drawn just to map out the changes made to the earth by these two youngsters. They eventually got too far into their own heads and struck each other with a fatal strike, one to the heart and the other to the brain. Their bodies exploded, leaving behind their magic, which spread all around the world. Their stones and artifacts were strewn around the country, and the world aura was filled with magic for the first time in history. Idiots will always rule the world, and people will always follow idiots. The world harassed the families of the boys and would search high and low for the secret stones, artifacts, and auras that they left behind. Two innocent kids that forever changed the world. I also noticed that the music cut out a little. That is my bad, guys. Miggy Dota says, "Oh, you're streaming." Yes, Miggy, I am streaming. Sorry says, "Music, wow, oh, it's as loud as you. Adjust it." What? No, you guys didn't tell me it was as loud as me. Viewers, why you do this to me? It hurt. But okay, I will fix it from next time. Nobody told me it was too loud, so I will adjust it next time for sure. But yeah, two idiots discovered magic, and this is something that I think every one of us has done as a kid, where we take something and we start waving it around, and we're like, hey, magic. Also, Blue Slate 8 gave silver. Hey, I remember you. You're back. I don't know, but wait, I don't remember which episode you joined, but I definitely remember that you were part of the episode from before. Am I wrong? Yes, it's you. Of course I am. Yes. Thank you. Welcome back. You gave silver. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you're kind of late though, so I'm almost done, but I can put the links in the stream so that you can read it if you want, or you can go to my YouTube through Writes and you can see all of it, so that that way you can listen to the stories. But yeah, these two idiots started magic. That's how they discovered magic. So little kids, we always jump around, we always cast spells on each other, we always pretend to lift things with our powers, or we're taking a shower and we're like, whoo, water bending. But none of it is unfortunately true. But these kids, they did that, and they had toys from Vapol Industries. So Vapol Industries, for those of you who don't know, is actually a One Piece reference. It's there's a guy named Vapol, a villain who can eat anything, and then he can create more of it, or he can adjust his own body to become something like he can eat a cannon, and his body can become a cannon, so to speak. So I just wanted to put a small reference into that because he's a toy maker at the end of where the series is right now. The Blue State, it's fine. Yeah, I will. Tuesday, this time I will be there. Don't worry. I will get you new stories. You don't have to listen to these old stories. I'll get you new stories. But yeah, so the kids are playing and they keep pretending, and eventually something actually happens, and they're like, what? We finally did it, guys! Let's do it. Let's figure out more of this stuff. So they keep doing it. They keep figuring out how to do more things, and then they figure out that they can. They as a kid, I always wanted a tree house. I was like, what would I do if I could move the earth and make fire and all that stuff? I would build a tree house, and I would build a house far away in the woods where my parents would never be able to find me. And that's exactly what these kids did. They go there and they make their houses, then they burrow underground, and they realize that the earth is filled with minerals that they can use to increase their power like crazy. So they do that, and they do all kinds of stuff. And I wanted them to be like, so if you guys know Avatar, The Last Airbender is based on different martial art. I don't know martial art types, different martial arts, let's just say. And it's supposed to be like a graceful dance for the water benders. And I really wanted them to be like, these kids, when they're casting their magic, it's like they're dancing. It's like a fun little performance being put up that everyone can see, but nobody does see it because they're in a remote, desolate village. And for the few people who do, their parents are like, "Hey, how about you don't like tell everybody because our village is going to get destroyed." But yeah, so as friends do, they finally fight, and they fight too much. They get too into it, and they end up killing each other. And their bodies, which have the magic, explode and basically spread the magic around to everybody around the world. Their aura spreads around the world. Their artifacts and their little rocks that they collected are all everywhere. And people finally realize, like, damn, okay, there is something going on here, and they trace it down to here, and they start harassing everybody in that, because that's what people do. When somebody has something, the rest of the people around can't be happy. They must get it for themselves. So they ask the family, and they search high and low for the secret stones. And this could be the start of an entire new story. This could be like the origin story for a different story you wanted to write. Like it could just be like these two dudes learned magic, died, their bodies set out magic into the world, and then now everybody else can learn magic as well. I should use this as a writing prompt. That's why you come to Brew Writes. Brew writes stories which become writing prompts, which become stories, which become writing prompts. Brew Writes is a self-fueling channel. Anyway, Blue State 8 says, glad to see you back on Brew Writes. Yes, unfortunately, last time a friend of mine had come from, I don't know why I said unfortunately, fortunately, he came back from overseas, so I went to visit him. And new stories just for you next Tuesday. But yeah, so that's the last story, Two Innocent Kids That Forever Changed the World. If you guys like the story, you can let me know, and I will make adjustments to the music next time so that it's not so loud and it's more enjoyable. I have found some great places for music. Oh, Miggy says you were audible though because it was soft music. Thank you, Miggy. I will keep that in mind. But yeah, I'll still do a few more tests, adjust the music a little bit more. Hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy it a lot more. But that's all the stories I have for today. Last note that I say before every podcast, I'm so used to doing a podcast with two other people that I keep saying podcast. Last note I say before every live stream is that I actually do suffer from clinical depression. And for a long, long time, I was just sitting at home, unable to do anything. I would literally be staring at the wall, or I would be playing games, or I'd be browsing Reddit or Instagram or some shit like that. I stopped reading stories. I stopped writing. I stopped making videos. I stopped everything. Okay, it was a terrible time. And for a few years, I was just like that. I was doing nothing. I worked a few jobs and I couldn't keep them. And I just got tired of it. I got tired of living that way. And I really wanted to do something. I don't mean to make this, like, if I can make it a career, of course I would, but my aim is to not make this a career. It's to put out some work so that I can hold myself accountable. Now, if I have a stream twice a week, Tuesday and Friday, I have to put out 5 stories. So I have to hold myself accountable. And if I know that I'm missing out on something that I've written out online, I can at least feel some sense of responsibility, write the stories and just sit here and talk it out. So that way I can keep writing, I can keep doing video editing, I can keep, getting my skills better and not just rot. So I'm very thankful for all of you who are here. I'm very thankful for all of you who participated and talked to me. So thank you very much, Disassociated Nugget. I hope you get used to writing again. I hope you start loving writing again. Please, I hope you come back and listen to more because you seem to like it. And do Slate 8, of course, next Tuesday, new stories for you. And Miggy and Corey, of course. Thank you very much. I should be signing off now. And yeah, that's it. See you guys in 1, 2, 3, 4. See you guys in 4 days. I shall be there in 4 days. Bye-bye.